Hi there, I'm Hannah, and I am here to take you through your EBLI ebook. So when you finish your online training and you turn in all your assignments at the very end of week 7, module 7, you are going to get your ebook in an email. I would highly recommend saving it somewhere easily accessible, desktop of your computer or in a folder where you know exactly where to find it, because it's almost 700 pages, so it's like gold. So once you save it, you're going to open it. And each time that you open it, it's actually going to have this agreement pop up so it's just asking that you agree to use the book only for the purpose of directly teaching students, not copying or sharing with any other teachers, any other instructors, anything like that. So you will have to agree to that every single time that it opens. And if you don't agree to it, it's actually going to it'll close down the PDF so that you can't use it. So just so that you're aware that that's going to happen. And when you open it up in a PDF, I've got it kind of zoomed in here so it's pretty big, but up here in the box, it'll tell you what page you're on out of the almost 700 pages. And just a quick little note on that is that if you put in here whatever number, so here's the cover page, and then you get to your table of contents. And if you say you want to go to chapter 1, which is on page 1, because of the table of contents, it adds 5 pages on. So if you're trying to go to 1, add 5 and make it 6, and that's going to take you to chapter 1. And if you ever want to get back to that start of the table of contents, just put in page 2 and it'll take you back there. So that's a quick way of navigating the ebook, which you'll see me do throughout this video. Whatever page you want to go, just add 5 and it'll take you there. Since it's almost 700 pages, it's highly recommended that you don't print the entire thing. You're going to want to print chapter 1, which is directions on how to use the book. And then after that, this section 1, it's got 6 chapters in it. So chapter 1 is for everybody. Chapter 2 is for instructors who've completed the online training this year whose students hadn't had EBLI previous to the training. Chapter 3 is for instructors that completed the online training this year whose students had EBLI before the training. And then Chapter 4 is for next year once you've completed the training in a previous year. So your students will be starting from scratch and the students haven't had EBLI. Chapter 5 is if you had completed the training in a previous year and your students had EBLI. So there's kind of a different chapter for each scenario. So depending on the year and depending on who you're teaching, you're going to print chapter 1 and then whatever other chapter is applicable. Chapter 6 is for one-on-one and remediation instruction only. So you might, if you're a whole class teacher, if you do small groups, you might print chapter 2 and chapter 6. Or if you just teach one-on-one in small group, just chapter 6. So, use what you need, but again, don't print the whole thing, just kind of print as you go as needed. Because they're specified to your teaching scenarios and you don't need anything and you'll have the book forever to reference. So also, as I'm going, this is just kind of a general overview video. There are several other videos in this playlist that get into detail with your lesson planning for each chapter, so be sure to choose just the one video that applies to whatever chapter you're going to be printing and using after chapter 1, because I get into the nitty-gritty of how to use your lesson plans and all that good stuff. So just be aware there's some other resources there. This is just a little overview. So let's see. And then past your directions, you've got these other sections. There's 5 sections total. So you've got your activity steps, and then you've also got additional activities for the students to do. You've got worksheets, and you've got word lists, and we're going to look at them all. But we'll start by looking at the first chapter. So this chapter is going to give you your directions on how to read the book, or use the book, I guess. So chapter 1, it's just general directions. So again, you'll scroll down here and there's, it's just going to remind you if you want that instructor completed the training this year and students hadn't had EBLI, you're going to go to page 13. If they have had EBLI before, you're going to go to page 36. And again, we'll look at, there's more directions here in chapter 1 that you can read, but I'll let you kind of look at those on your own, and we are going to get right into one of the instruction or teaching scenario chapters. So we'll go over to chapter 2, which is again the 13 plus 5, so I'm putting an 18 up there. So here's chapter 2. And again, when you get to the top of every chapter, it's just going to remind you this chapter is for you so that you can make sure you're in the right place. And if you're not, of course, go back to page 2, table of contents, find the right chapter for you. The goals of your instruction are, the goals of the instructor are. So it's just telling you a couple of general notes that you want to keep in mind as you go to teach. Then when you scroll to the bottom here, you've got two different scenarios. So one scenario is for the instructors who see the same students all day. The second scenario is for those who see several different classes of students. So one will start on page 14, one will start on page 26. Again, just choose whatever works for you, but we are going to go to the one that sees the same students all day. So it's going to give you some notes about that, and then you're going to have these blank lesson planning templates. So what this is for that scenario where you see the same kids. You'll have your spots to fill in your whole class lesson plans. You'll have your spots to fill in your groups, the dates, and your lessons for your small group, whether they're teacher-led or not. And then a space at the bottom if your students do independent activities while you're doing teacher-led groups, you can fill that in. So when you print out this chapter, be sure and print several copies of this one, because this is one that you're going to be filling out on a weekly basis and continuing to use as your resource. So you've got your planning templates. Then, we don't just let you go on your own. We actually give you detailed information about planning your lessons. So in your first phase, where the students have gone through the EBLI training with you, you're going to keep teaching a lot of the same activities, but here you're going to have just the sounds that you didn't teach in the training. So it's going to tell you, in phase 1, teach 2 per week, and then do your infusion activities. And then once that's done and you're done teaching your extra same sound, different spelling, and same spelling, different sound, and you're going to move into phase 2, which is all just infusion activities. So it's going to tell you exactly what to do. There's some that are single days, some that take 2 days. You fill them in. All the page numbers that are in here are referencing. You can hop to those pages and hop back. There might be references to things in different sections, like for example this one, section 4, there's a worksheet, but it'll also tell you the page, so you can easily get there. And then, just remember where you're at, what page you're on, so that you can hop back using your little box to get there. And then beyond that, you actually have samples of the lesson plan. So we fill them in one section at a time so that you can see what it should look like when you're done. So it's holding your hand at first so that you have a lot of support and a lot of help figuring out how to fill in your lesson plans so that you can continue teaching EBLI. Let's see, and now I'm going to jump to section 2. And what this is all the activity steps. So you've had all these in your online training, but you have them here. They're also on the members area. So if you're wanting to look for a specific activity, you can go back to 2, and it talks about section 2 right here. It tells you the page number for every single activity, one-on-one, small group, whole class. So you can jump directly to the activity you want. But again, don't print them all. Just print them as you need them and print only the ones you need, because they're all here. So let's see, section 3. This is going to be additional student activities. So when we talked about your lesson plan and those activities that students can do independently while you're working with teacher-led groups, these are several different activities that align with the things you're going to be teaching with EBLI anyway. So if you teach your same sound, different spelling sort, here's an activity that goes along with that sort that you can find here. There will be teacher resources and instructions, and there will be student worksheets, and each activity is a little different, so please use them. Don't feel like you have to be married to them. If you want to do the EBLI apps for the students to do independently, or if they have other independent work that they do, use it all, but just know that these are available and that they align with your EBLI lessons anyway. So they're a really great, fun resource for you to have and to use, of course. And again, just like with the other sections, print what you need, print them as you go, print as many as you need for each student, and all that. And now we'll hop over to section 4, and this is a fun one. You've got some additional documents and worksheets for your students. So it tells you at the top here what type of documents they are. So this one, general documents, things that if somebody asks you, what is EBLI about? How is it different? These are ones that you've got a page number for each one. You can print out and give to the general public. You've got a parent letter here that explains about why we do sound, spelling by sound instead of letter name, providing support for their readers at home. So stuff you can share with your parents. You can share the research that EBLI is based on, why you're using it. So these are great kind of general activities to inform the public about EBLI and all that. And then you've got your documents for students, which are their worksheets. So you've got all these here that you can use. And then a couple of documents for you, the instructor. And again, all the resources that are in this section are also in your members area, but they're here too, just so you can have them all in one place. So you've got all those if-then charts that you had in the online training. You've got your information and tips about how the brain learns to read, best practices from Epley, a quick reference of after the lesson plans, well, really for you, it's after the training and what activities you're going to keep teaching. So Peterson handwriting prompts, point game instructions, it's all here. Good resources for you, the teacher. So be sure and check out that section 4 because it's got some good stuff going on. And then my very favorite section of all is section 5. This is your word glossary, and there are a lot of words in here. So the way that it works is each of these sections is organized by sound pattern. So if we go to, and I'm just going to show you what it looks like because that's easier. So if we go to, we'll look at ol. Okay, so it's going to start off with your same sound, different spelling. And what this is, you know, you've got for 2nd and 3rd grade, you've got your keywords. And again, you can go and print out those steps documents from the 2nd section too if you still need them. But once you kind of get more familiar with how to do the sorts and what you're doing here, this is just kind of a general one-page place that you can print out. And again, you know, you've got lots to choose from, especially if you have several teachers in the same building or the same district teaching the same kids or teaching, you know, they get the same sort in different grades. You've got all these words to choose from, but you're just going to sort 2 from each of these columns. And then for each of these columns, you'll just choose 1 to sort into the word sort because they're less common. And then at the bottom, you've got your tendencies to discuss. And so again, just a one-stop shopping area to just see all those words. And then you'll go up to the 4th or 5th grade list, exactly the same thing, just tougher words. And you even have 6th through 8th grade, which I'm sorry, I kind of scrolled past that one a little bit. I get a little happy with my scrolling here. Again, even tougher words. Then once you're through with the sort words, and again, we're still in ol. So you've got your multisyllable spelling word lists. There are 6 lists. List 1 is the simplest. List 6, the most complex words. Just teach 1 list of the words. So there's 2 words in each list that you'll do with multisyllable spelling. Again, you'll see that they all have different spellings for ol. You'll see that they start as more simple multisyllable words. And then once we get to list 6, we're into the crazier, more syllables, lots of kind of weird stuff going on. And again, I scrolled too fast. I get a little ahead of myself. But yeah, reprehensible and valedictorian. So you got the crazier words going on. So again, we're not teaching every single list. You just have simpler to tougher lists to choose from. So just choose 1. And then you've got your split word reading lists. So each list has 8 words for split word reading, starting with the simplest list, moving to list 6, most complex. And you have this for every single sound that you sort. And then for the same spelling where it's your they're looking at the same thing and there's different sounds, you've got the exact same thing. So hundreds and hundreds, probably thousands of words actually for you to choose from that go along with whatever sound you're teaching. Feel free to use your own content area words, to use your words that you're focusing on, your vocab words, your spelling words. You know, if they work within these lists, or even if you just want to teach those instead of focusing on the ol, feel free to do that. But just know that these are here for you to use. And if you feel like you want tougher words, let's see, we even have tougher words past that. So additional multisyllable words that are just crazy and Epleyized for you, and you can teach them with any of the Epley multisyllable strategies. So either multisyllable spelling, multisyllable split word reading, what have you. So there's quite a few of these, and they're in alphabetical order toward the end of this section. And then the very last 2 things that you've got in here are your high frequency word lists, and you've got your homophone word lists. So these are, please, you know, make good use of this ebook because there's just so much. It's like a gold mine of really amazing resources for you. And we've tried to take the work out of Epleyizing everything, and so that you can have really a good resource to start you off as you get going, and then, you know, hopefully you'll move into doing more where you just Epleyize your own words. But this is here for you with lots and lots and lots to choose from in the meantime. And again, so that you have your lesson planning templates and you have some direction and you know where to go after the online training. So enjoy, and please use it widely. And again, print only what you need. And I hope you have a great time Epleyizing.